Okay, guys, how you doing? Ready for another business boot camp with Pat? I am your host, Pat Calcagno, this dashing, good-looking guy right here. Anyway, today is the 17th tax day of April. So what better day and what better way to celebrate tax day than to talk about our businesses, okay? All right, getting back to the basics. When we started this a few sessions ago, I said, excuse me, that starting a business was a lot like telling a story. And you pretty much have to have these 6 elements to tell a decent story. And that's basically what we're doing with a business is we are telling a story. And whatever the end result of that business is, we're still telling a story. So we need the who, what, when, where, why, and how to get our businesses up and running. Well, we've already talked about the why, and what the why is, why are we doing this? Why are we in business? What is it that's motivating us to start our own business, to step out off that ledge into the void, as it were, to start our own business? How are we going to do this? We talked about the different ways of doing this, traditional business models versus modern business models, and which, would be the best for us to do. Talked about the what, okay, whether, you did a traditional or whether you did an online type business, we talked about what we wanted to do. Now, the who, the when, the where, that's pretty obvious. The who, unless you're talking about your customers. There's a lot written and a lot has been said about developing a customer avatar, which is your profile of who your ultimate customer would be. For me, the who is us. So we're looking at a business. We're looking at thinking about getting involved in a business. We're looking at starting a business. So the who in there is going to be us. The when, realistically, when are we going to do it now? Are we going to do it later? When are we going to do? When are we going to do this business? Okay, and where are we going to do it? Okay, so getting back to the basics, you finally made the decision. We've made that decision. We're going to start our own online business. All right, we're ready for the party to start. Woohoo, yay. Psst. Buzzers, little things. But anyway, here's the party. We're getting started in our own business. Now, what are we going to do? Because we're lost, confused, unsure, unclear, perplexed, disoriented, and we're completely and totally bewildered. There is so much information that we've already talked about. There's so much information that's gotten piled on top of us. Where the heck do we start in all this? All right? Where do we start? What's the first thing we should do? You get one guy tells you the first thing you should do is do this, and then somebody tells you to go do this, somebody else tells you to go do this. You get lost. Okay, so we're going to give you my opinion. And my opinion, first things first, use your support network. Doesn't matter whether you're buying a multi-million-dollar franchise, like a McDonald's, or whether you're starting a small online affiliates business. There's going to be people around you, people that introduced you to the business, that are going to help you build your business. So that's what I mean. Use your support network. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you get started. They really do have a vested interest in seeing you become successful. Okay? So use them. Everybody knows this guy. This is Mr. Moneybags from the Monopoly game. All right? Everybody wants to be him. He wants to be the guy that wins Monopoly and wins everything. Well, what's the next thing you do? Okay, after you've talked to your support group, they're still dumping all this information on you. One guy's telling you to go to seminars. Somebody else is telling you to watch all this video training. This person's telling you, oh, no, you need to go and start reading these books. What are you going to do next? Okay? pick one thing, just one thing. Look at what you got facing you. Just pick one thing that you're confident you can start at. Not something that you know that you're going to, not necessarily something that you think you can be successful at. You know, just something simple that you can start at. With me, it was just doing videos. I had to get over my fear of sitting in front of and talking to a camera. So for me, that's what it was my one thing was starting, you know, if I did a video, I felt like I was actually accomplishing something. So just pick one thing you're confident you can start with and just do it. All right, here we have the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Okay, for those of you that don't know who this handsome gent is, he's one of my buddies from my childhood. This is Mr. Magilla Gorilla. Used to love his show. Anyway, so we're going to use him as kind of a symbol for the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Now, the problem with getting involved in business is that most people will not tell you what I am about to tell you. They skirt the issue. They avoid the issue at all costs. They think that by telling you up front this issue, they're going to lose potential business partners. And they are. We're going to lose. Some of you that are watching this video are going to get scared and you're going to take a walk. Okay. Unfortunately, you probably wouldn't have done real well as it is. But so we're going to talk pretty straightforward. If you're going to be in business, it's going to cost money. End of discussion. And it doesn't matter from the biggest corporation in the world to the smallest in-home mom and pop business. If you're going to be in business, there are business costs that are going to hit you. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to use my business as kind of an example here. All right. And I have an internet marketing business. And when I got started, I knew that there were going to be some costs associated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some of these things out at you. Okay. Licensing fees. Since I am an affiliate marketer, I have to pay a company for the privilege of selling their products. So I have to pay them a licensing fee. It gives me the right to be able to say, hey, yeah, I'm marketing this product. Okay, I have to have a funnel. And what a funnel is, it's basically nothing more than a sales system. You know, you bring people in on one end and they go through the sales process to the other end. That's basically all a funnel is. But rather than trying to build my own site that has these things, I go out and I pay money to a site that offers them to me. An email autoresponder. Now, people are going to go, well, why do you need an email autoresponder? Okay, quite simply, when you're getting started and you only have 8, 10, 15, or 20 people on a list of potential business partners and clients, it's pretty easy to just go ahead and send them all an email. But when your list starts getting up over 1,000, even up over 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. You want something that's automated, something that at the push of a button, it sends an email out to your entire list. All right. Okay, if you're going to be on the internet, if you're going to have an online business, you have to have a domain name. Okay? And also, you may even actually want to have a website. So if you have a website, then you're going to have to pay for a web host. You know, they're not all that expensive, but it still costs money. Your domain name is going to cost money. You have to renew that every couple of years, unless you want to lose your business name. So these are things that you absolutely have to start an online business, okay? You can't get around them, and they're going to cost you money every month. Okay. An advertising budget. If you're marketing something, and even if you're not marketing something, I had a lady that had a dream of starting an online business where doctors and surgeons would send their reports to her and she would type them up in a nice format and send them back to them. Okay? You still need an advertising budget. if you don't advertise, nobody's going to know you got a business, and nobody's going to come, and you're going to be out of business soon. Okay, ongoing education. Now, here's one that people will argue back and forth. Okay, well, I've spent this money. Why do I have to continue to pay to learn how to do this business? Okay, well, that's just the way it is. Doctors, lawyers, professional people all go to symposiums. They spend big money to go find out what the newest trends in their profession is. Okay, so you can assume that no matter what it is you're doing, whether it's learning more about how to promote online, or learning more about the specific product you're selling or your marketing, you're still going to need that ongoing education. And you're going to do that through seminars, consulting, and masterminds. Okay? You're going to pay to go to seminars. You're going to pay to have somebody come in and consult with you. And a mastermind is nothing more than a think tank, getting together with people that are doing the same thing you are and kicking ideas around on how to improve their business. Assistants. People are going to go, okay, well, why do I have to have an assistant? I've got this tiny, tiny little, you don't have to have an assistant. But there's going to come a point in your business where you're going to want to have an assistant. Right now for me, I'm doing everything myself, but eventually it's going to get to the point where I'm going to want somebody doing my books. I'm going to want somebody taking care of my emails, somebody taking care of Facebook for me. Now, if I can find one assistant or two assistants that can take all that stuff, that's great. If not, I know I'm going to end up having to have separate people handling separate different things. So you're going to be looking at a virtual assistant. What a virtual assistant basically is somebody that you hire, that you communicate via the internet, that they handle certain aspects of your business for you. You're going to want to get a CPA. Okay, if you're in business, you're going to want to learn how to protect your assets. You're going to want to learn what you can spend money on, what you can't spend money on, and what you're entitled to spend money on for your business. Okay, these are things that you probably should have. You don't have to have them. You can get away without them, but eventually, at one point or another, you're going to want it. You're going to want to have them. Okay, Magilla, gonna paraphrase the bard, William Shakespeare: to sell or not to sell? That is the question. I can't tell you the number of times that I've had people respond to me that, wow, this looks like a really good program. Sounds like something that is really good, but you know what? I don't want to sell. Well, unfortunately, everything in life involves some form of sales, so get over it. Okay? End of discussion. From trying to get that really cute girl or guy to go out with you, to convincing your kids to do their homework. You think about it. Everything we do in life is a sale of one kind or another. Convincing your wife that it's okay for you to spend that $800 for the new set of golf clubs, or to convince your husband that it's okay to spend that $1,000 for the new dining room set. It's a sales job. It's a sales. And I am the person that said this. I'm sure thousands of other people have said it at one point or another, but I'm the first person to put myself in quotations on it. Okay, now what I want each and every one of you to do, okay, before we go on, is I want you to answer this question in your own mind. What is the purpose of a business? So think about this for a second. All right. If your first response was to generate income, to make money, something of that along those lines, okay, your mind is not in the place that it needs to be. Okay? The first the purpose of a business is really to solve a problem for your customer. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more about Michael Oliver in a few minutes. But basically, that's what we're in business for, is we need to identify a problem that our potential client or potential business partner has to find out if our product is going to solve that problem. Think about this. If you're selling weight loss products, okay, and your product is designed to cut body fat, and you're talking to a bodybuilder that's at like 6% body fat, and the only thing that they want to know is how to make their calves bigger, your product's not going to work for them. Your products are not going to work for them. So what we need to do is we need to talk to our customers, talk to our potential business partners to find out if what we have available. And it doesn't matter, like I said, whether you have a McDonald's, if you're online, if you're selling knitting patterns, whatever it is that you're doing online, you have to, I apologize. I got distracted. My Skype keeps going off. But anyway, we have to identify what the problem is for our customers. So we have to talk to our customers. We have to kind of delve into their background to see if what we have is really going to be beneficial, because it's just going to be a waste of time if they don't need what we've got to offer. So in summary, being in business, like everything else in life, costs something, either in time, money, or both. And just remember that the more you invest, the more you'll get in return. Invest a little bit of time and money, it's going to take a lot longer to build a business. If you have a lot of time and money to invest, it's going to be a lot easier and it's going to go a lot quicker for you. But it's going to get done. It can be done. Both ends of the spectrum. Building a business can be done. One is a lot tougher than the other, but it can be done. Okay, so our book recommendations. I mentioned him a minute ago, Mr. Michael Oliver. Mr. Michael Oliver is credited as basically being the founder of the natural selling technique. And what the natural selling technique is basically what we were just talking about. He takes the whole idea of trying to sell something to somebody and turns it around. And basically, what he says is that the reason that most people don't want to sell is because they're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of hearing that no. And most people take it personally when somebody says no. Well, what the bottom line is that if we take us out of the equation, if we start focusing on our clients' problems and whether, and then just the natural progression of a conversation to where we get to the point where we find out if we have something that could help them, is going to take, basically the fear, the anxiety, and all the rest of it out of our marketing. Okay, but this is definitely a must read for those of you that, are getting involved in a business where there's going to be some kind of marketing or sales. I highly recommend the book. Zig Ziglar, anything by Zig Ziglar. This is a great one, The Secrets of Closing the Sale. He gives you a lot of great strategies to overcome objections. This is kind of counterintuitive to what Michael Oliver does, but you know what? They go hand in hand because it's nice to know the techniques. But anything by Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar has basically been the guru since the 60s, and he's still going strong. And when you talk about sales, everybody talks about Zig. Dan Kennedy. Anything by Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy is a great ad copywriter. The Ultimate Sales Letter. Going to tell you from A to Z how to sit down and write a sales letter that's going to be, that's going to draw people in. Okay, so anything by Dan Kennedy, but especially the Ultimate Sales Letter. So, guys, like I say every time, if you have any comments, concerns, if you would like to drop me an email with suggestions, feel free to. But you can get me at pats21step@gmail. Just drop me an email there. If you want to hook up on Skype, there's my Skype address. If you're in one of the groups that I'm associated with and you want to do, some private Skype, just shoot me a message that you want to hook up privately on Skype, no problem. And YouTube. You can find my videos on YouTube. This series will be public for a while, and then shortly it's going to be going private, and this is what I'll be using for my newest business partners as they start up. So I thank you guys for being a part of this and being a part of helping me get this content up and running, and we'll see you again in a couple weeks. All right, take care.